Tonight on 7 News, 48-hour deadline. Iran locks in on nuclear targets as Donald Trump issues an ultimatum over the Strait of Hormuz. The fuel crisis deepens as oil tankers bound for Australia are turned back. A major election result for One Nation in South Australia, sending shockwaves through Canberra. A terrifying ordeal for a Perth teenager pulled from his car and kicked by thugs. Sparks fly in a fiery chase, a thief's daring dash in a stolen ute. And has the future arrived for the West Coast Eagles? The young stars shine in a massive home win. The team songs coming up.
Live from Perth, this is 7 News with Tim McMillan.
Good evening. There's been a dangerous new escalation in the Iran war, with nuclear sites now under threat. And Iran has launched rockets capable of striking Europe as Donald Trump starts the clock on a 48-hour ultimatum.
A revenge strike at Israel's nuclear heart.
Whoa.
The Iron Dome pierced by an Iranian rocket. Wrecking the town of Demasi in southern Israel, the damage and injuries severe, but the nearby nuclear research centre reportedly undamaged. Iran claiming its payback for Israel striking at its main nuclear site. Iran's Atomic Energy Authority claiming there's no leakage of radioactive materials reported. Day 22 of the war, and fighter jets from USS Abraham Lincoln are operating around the clock, continuing to pound Iran, taking out key infrastructure. Israel blowing up an Iranian missile site, killing a claimed 300 members of the Revolutionary Guard. But the focus remains oil. Donald Trump threatening online, if Iran doesn't fully open the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours, Tuesday our time, the US will obliterate their power plants. Iran's response, if infrastructure is violated, all infrastructure belonging to the US and the regime in the region will be targeted. It's a threat carrying a deadlier new punch, Iran's doomsday rocket. They can travel 4,000 kilometres further than Sydney to Perth. Israel warns cities like London, Paris and Rome are now all within Iran's reach. Overnight, 2 of those rockets were fired at Diego Garcia, a critical base for US and UK bombers and submarines. One missile was shot down, the other missed, but the threat is now real. While in Israel, anti-war protesters are taking aim at the government.
The Israeli resistance to this war is hard to be measured due to crowd restrictions and the sirens, but this group continues to defy the orders and the numbers have been slowly building.
I refused to join the Israeli army last year and I was sent to 6 months in prison.
We cannot bear killing so many people. It corrupts the soul of our society.
Live to Jacqueline Robson in Israel now. Jackie, an investigation has been ordered into the Iron Dome defence shield.
Yes, Tim, it's after a second ballistic missile was able to evade the Iron Dome, slamming into this residential block behind me here in Arad. You can see the walls of the apartments have been blown out. We're not too far from the first hit in Demona and close to that nuclear research centre. The number of injured up and around 150 people. It's the first time since the early days of this war that we've seen these ballistic missiles escape the Iron Dome, directly hitting areas of Israel, and the Prime Minister has described it as a very difficult day for the country. Iran still able to cause this level of destruction as we head into week 4 of this war. Tim?
Jacqueline Robson in Israel, thank you. 6 oil ships bound for Australia have been turned back or deferred as our fuel crisis deepens. Tonight there's new concern from farmers as diesel and fertiliser stocks dry up.
On properties nationwide, there's not enough fuel to get crops in the ground.
With fuel and fertiliser, this is probably one of the most difficult seeding periods we've ever had to approach.
tough.
Here in the West, wheat, barley and canola farmers are up against it.
We've only got one window. It's a very short window. We can't delay this. When the crop has to go in the ground, it's got to go in the ground.
As Chris Bowen reveals that of the 81 fuel ships due to arrive in April, 6 have been cancelled. Major suppliers in Singapore, South Korea and Malaysia under intense demand. Importers now looking to the United States, Mexico and India.
I think we should be worried about it because Chris Bowen doesn't seem to know what is going on.
The Strait of Hormuz under siege.
I think you should always expect Australians to be concerned when they see oil ships being bombed on their televisions at night.
Iran blocking the passage of 20% of the world's oil.
That's our 20%. That's our fuel.
The federal opposition suggestion? Prioritise supply to areas that need it most.
Why aren't they identifying where the shortages are and making sure the fuel that gets there?
The Energy Minister has the power to do that under the Liquid Fuel Emergency Act.
It's never been invoked, ever, not through the first 2 Gulf Wars, COVID. It's not designed to be invoked lightly.
Insisting it's not needed yet. Isabel Mullen, 7 News.
Energy Minister Amber Jade Sanderson says none of the 6 cancelled oil tankers headed to Australia were bound for WA. She insists our fuel supplies are so far uninterrupted.
It's an uneasy calm when it comes to fuel deliveries in Western Australia. There's enough to go around until there isn't. The state government insists we're OK through April and May.
There do remain a couple of sticky points. Esperance and Kalgoorlie do remain challenging, and we're working with suppliers to ensure we're getting fuel out to those regions.
Like the federal government, the Cook government has so far rejected suggestions of rationing. Same with working from home or cuts to road speeds.
We just want people to go about their normal business. We're not putting in place any suggestions or directions of how people need to manage themselves. We have seen an increase in public transport. That's a great outcome.
At fuel stations around Perth today, no queues, no signs of panic buying, no evidence of shortages. Monday's average unleaded petrol price, $2.46 a litre, no change from today. But our reliance on fossil fuels to keep the wheels turning about to be tested even more. Here at Camco Engineering in Canning Vale today, the state government also made some significant announcements which will profoundly affect the state's energy usage. Synergy and Water Corporation have signed contracts to buy electricity from 3 yet-to-be-built wind farms, the 1 gigawatt output exceeding the electricity generation of coal-fired power stations slated to close by 2030. And Camco will break new ground when it starts producing anchor cages at its Canning Vale complex. Until now, the foundation structures of wind turbines have been imported.
So we're helping to move West Australian manufacturing up that value chain, which is incredibly important.
Jeff Parry, 7 News.
South Australian Labor Premier Peter Malinauskas has made history with a record-breaking election victory. But it was One Nation that stole the limelight, decimating the Liberals and stealing votes from Labor.
One Nation delivers one heck of an electoral shockwave.
I'm leaving you some landmines. They're called One Nation Members of Parliament. Don't step on them because they will explode.
Smashing the Liberals in semi-rural areas and ransacking Labor's traditional blue-collar heartland.
Take notice that the orange wave is here to stay.
Redrawing the political landscape with an historically high vote, dragging attention from another piece of history, a Malinauskas landslide. Re-elected was South Australian Labor's biggest win ever.
How are you feeling?
Humbled.
Celebrating a victory that delivered Labor 39% of the primary vote, One Nation's second on 22, the Liberals crashing to 19, Greens 11. But because of preferences, not all that equating to seats. Labor ahead in 35, the Liberals 8, and One Nation just 2.
Congratulations to Mally. He has cemented his place as a Labor great.
And One Nation has cemented itself as a major electoral force, an existential threat to the Liberals, but also a threat to Labor in outer urban seats. And it's detonated a new national debate over who are the true custodians of patriotism and what it really means to be an Australian.
We are a team of patriots. We believe in putting Australia first.
Anthony Albanese at a Vietnamese multicultural event.
Some in political life want to turn back the clock to an Australia that is no longer who we are. And we need to continue to cherish our diversity as a strength for our nation, which it is.
Barnaby Joyce, unrepentant.
We don't believe in multiculturalism, we believe in Australian culture, and if that upsets you, then be upset.
As One Nation sets up a new picture of patriotism. One Nation established itself last night as Australia's new third way force in politics. The big question for Pauline Hanson, as it always is whether she can now keep her party together and impose a discipline that hasn't been there in the past. As she moves on to the Farrer by-election in New South Wales, vacated by former Liberal leader Susan Lee, with a big chance of picking that up, and then barnstorming on to Victoria for the state election in November. The people of South Australia spoke last night, some of them very angrily. And Angus Taylor and Anthony Albanese have to work out very quickly exactly what it is they said. Because if they don't, they could be the next victims of One Nation humiliation. Tim.
Mark, thank you. Police are hunting two men who pulled a Perth teenager from his car in a random attack. The thugs can be heard laughing as they film themselves repeatedly kicking the man while he lay on the ground. Lucy Murray reports.
This is what two thugs think is fun. Laughing as they drag a 19-year-old from his car. On the ground, Tim Skippings is kicked repeatedly.
Just some young, dumb, on drugs blokes, looking for some trouble, you know. I think it was just wrong place, wrong time.
The teenager is stoic, but his dad says the unprovoked attack has cut deep.
Apart from bumps and scratches, physically he's doing okay, but he's having a lot of trouble sleeping and, it runs through his mind constantly what's happened to him.
Tim was assaulted as he arrived home from work around 10:30 on Wednesday. His family asleep just metres away inside their Girraween home.
For someone to come to your home and do something like that, as a lark, as fun, it just leaves you feeling, very unsafe.
Yeah, I'm just sort of trying to just not think about it as much.
Police are asking for anyone who has footage of the dual cab ute on Wednesday night to get in touch. One of the assailants can be heard laughing as he films the brutal attack. The penalty for sharing this video online when the new post and boast laws begin is up to 3 years in jail.
It just leaves you with a sick feeling in your stomach. It's one thing to know what's happened, it's another thing to see your child go through that.
Lucy Murray, 7 News.
Donald Trump is facing heavy criticism for his response to the death of former FBI director and lifelong public servant Robert Mueller. Mueller died after a 5-year battle with Parkinson's disease, aged 81. Trump was quick to comment online, saying, "Good, I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people." Mueller oversaw the investigation into alleged Russian interference in the 2016 election, won by Trump. A convicted pedophile in a stolen ute has gone on a wild car chase through the suburbs of Adelaide. Police were given real-time updates by a couple who followed the offender for more than an hour before he was arrested.
A stolen ute barely holding together.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
A convicted pedophile behind the wheel.
I've been following him from Port Wakefield, literally on a rim.
Driving recklessly as sparks fly.
Going on to Kings Road.
A northern suburbs couple tail him for over an hour, feeding police real-time updates. The net tightens, officers move in at the Hollywood Plaza car park.
Oh my god, he is getting cornered. Oh, they're running.
The 45-year-old child sex predator has nowhere to run. Forcefully dragged from the Ford and into custody.
Get on your stomach! Get on your stomach now!
Unfazed by the chaos, the suspect's Jack Russell puppies remain calm. Bags of lollies, beer and a stained blanket discovered in the ute. The Ranger had been stolen from Balaclava earlier in the night.
Just quite unbelievable how someone would be so damn stupid to do that and put their own life at risk and a lot of other people.
There's obviously something wrong going on in their head to do something like that.
The man's facing a string of serious offences, including breaching strict reporting obligations under the Child Sex Offenders Registration Act.
They're just scum. They don't deserve a life.
Mitchell Sariovsky, 7 News.
The West Coast Eagles have delighted thousands across the state with an upset win at Optus Stadium. Live there now to Ryan Daniels. And Rhino, the Eagles were made to earn it.
Oh, Tim, they found themselves down by 5 goals in the first. The win was then set up by an amazing second and third quarter blitz. Willem Dersma, the number 1 draft pick, and Cooper Duff Tytler, the number 4 pick. They both amazed in just their second games, a couple of goals each. Elliot Yeo was outstanding. The veteran Harley Reid, his best game for the season. He really led from the front. The Kangaroos, they never gave up. They kept threatening to come back. The Eagles getting home by 17 points in the end. It was an absolute thriller. The first AFL win for 11 players at the West Coast Eagles. That is almost half the team. They sang the song loud and proud, as you can imagine, in front of their fans here at Optus Stadium. The mood here is electric, as you can imagine. It's the Eagles' first win in 308 days. Later in Sports In, we will have every single thing covered. All of the highlights. We'll hear from the coach. We'll hear from the players. West Coast Eagles fans, stick around. A great win today here at Optus Stadium.
I'm sure they will. Thanks, Rhino. Cyclone Narelle isn't giving up. The storm has been downgraded for now, but the Weather Bureau is keeping a very close eye as it moves west and is likely to reform off the WA coast. As James Carmody reports, some modelling shows it taking a path towards Geraldton and even as far south as Perth.
Narelle spent the week on a destructive tour.
Big hole through my roof.
Trashing parts of Queensland, then the NT.
It's pretty chaotic.
Now an ex-tropical cyclone continuing west. WA's northern Kimberley is in for gales and heavy rain tomorrow. Once it reaches the warm Indian Ocean, things ramp up, reforming incredibly likely.
It could even get to a severe Category 3 strength off the Pilbara coast on Wednesday.
Then it's headed south. Maybe staying offshore, maybe headed right for us.
Some computer models actually have it crossing the coastline around sort of the Midwest or even further south towards Lower West and Perth over the weekend.
A lot can change in a week, but West Aussies all along the coast are asked to keep an eye on that 7-day forecast. James Carmody, 7 News.
And Jerrie Demasi has that forecast for you right now. Jerry, looks like we're in the calm before the storm.
That very much could be the case, Tim, because today was quite mild indeed. Perth got down to around 20 degrees at 5 a.m, peaking at 29.4 just after 3 o'clock. And it's going to stay fairly stable for a few days ahead while the southwest is in the grips of a high pressure system. But you can see ex-tropical cyclone Narelle up there as it crosses into WA tomorrow. There is a chance it could develop back into a cyclone. So an advice warning is current for Columbaroo to the border. As we heard from James, the system could potentially then move west and down the coast. The question is, will that rain reach Perth? The Bureau seems to think so, and we certainly need it. We haven't seen a drop in close to a month. When I'm back, we'll take a look at how much rain we could potentially get, and I'll give you a hint, Tim, it's a lot.
Wouldn't be the worst thing, would it, Jerry? We certainly need it. Thank you. This is 7 News Live from Perth. Still to come. A pedestrian struck by a car on a busy road in Perth's east. A driver fights back after an attempted carjacking. Where it happened. Kylie Minogue performs at an exclusive party. How much she was reportedly paid. And the microtoxins hiding in everyday items. Scientists sound the alarm. That's later.
7 News, brought to you by Mazda BT50.
If you carry the whole side on your back and let no fish off the hook,
A man has been seriously injured after being hit by a car near the Guildford Hotel in Perth's east overnight. It happened at the intersection of James Street and Great Eastern Highway around 11:30. The 43-year-old was taken to Royal Perth Hospital and is now in a stable condition. The 22-year-old driver and his passenger were not injured. Anyone who saw the crash should contact police. In a bizarre service station showdown, a truck driver has fought back against two would-be carjackers. For more than a minute, he traded blows with two thugs, arming himself with a spirit level in an attempt to get even.
Fueling fury at a Scoresby petrol station. 2 on 1. The man in red, the victim of an attempted carjacking. Police say moments before this brawl broke out, the two thugs demanded the keys to his LG truck as his colleague stepped away to get lunch. When refused, it was road rage by the Eastlink freeway. As the would-be carjackers attempted to return to their own car, the victim used a spirit level to get even.
What I do, I just stay away and call police, you know.
Always good to see people fight back. Right. No one else does anything.
The victims of the attempted carjacking reported the attack to local police. Officers say that no one was seriously injured, but they're still trying to track down the thugs that started this service station showdown.
Us truck drivers have stuff like that happens to us all the time.
I got baseball bats, everything in my truck for them, 100%. Like, yeah, if someone tries to rob me, 100%, I ain't stopping. That's sick. That's awesome.
Perhaps not for these thugs, no doubt left with bruised bodies and egos. Jacqueline Stanley, 7 News.
More than 5,000 people have been forced to evacuate their homes as Hawaii is threatened by extreme flash flooding following a severe storm. The governor warning residents it could be the largest flood the state has seen in 20 years. Airports, schools, roads, hospitals and homes have already been destroyed. More than 230 people have been rescued so far, some of them seriously injured. No deaths have been reported. 2 people have been killed in a deadly avalanche in the Italian Alps. 25 skiers were caught in the South Tyrol avalanche at an altitude of 2,400 metres. Most of them escaped, but around a dozen were trapped. Emergency crews desperately searched through the snow, finding 2 dead and 5 people injured. Kylie Minogue had VIPs spinning around at an exclusive party in Melbourne. Hosted by billionaire Anthony Pratt at his mansion, the Visi chairman reportedly paid $3 million to have the pop princess perform a 60-minute set. Pratt is known to splash cash on superstar performances, with Katy Perry the headline act in previous years. The Prime Minister was among the 250 guests there last night. There was tight security at the gate as a small group of protesters tried to disrupt attendees on the way in and out. Still to come this news hour on 7, a brave young woman speaking out. Next, why she describes her father as a narcissist and a monster. Anzac Day at Hellfire Pass, why more Aussies are being encouraged to make the pilgrimage. A hero shopper takes on a robber after he pulled a knife. And just ahead, the Kings bat relay heads underwater on the Great Barrier Reef. Attending the Anzac Day service at Hellfire Pass on the Thai-Burma Railway has become a pilgrimage for a growing number of Aussies. Retracing the steps of the thousands of prisoners of war is a deeply moving experience, and one the Australian government wants more of us to experience.
Anzac Day in the jungle at Hellfire Pass in Thailand. For 28 years, dawn services have been held here at the most difficult section of the Thai-Burma Railway, which 13,000 Australian prisoners of war were forced by Japan to build, 2,800 of whom died.
It is a really important part of our national history.
Among the Aussies who survived the hellish conditions, back-breaking work and cruel captivity was Valentine Lowry.
One of the proudest days always was Anzac Day for Pa.
Callan will represent his grandfather and the nation, helping to lead the dawn service this year, and he wants other Australians to visit the important site.
As many Australians as possible that could get to Hellfire Pass while in Thailand and pay tribute is a really important gesture. It's only a couple of hours out of Bangkok.
They can go out into the site, they can walk along the pathways, they can experience the jungle that these people were living in.
The Australian government has invested significantly in a museum, memorial and maintaining the walking trails, and this week will launch an immersive experience online with virtual tours, historic photographs and first-person accounts.
Launching the website means for people who can't get there, they have a greater opportunity to be able to learn those stories, to get that experience of what occurred in Hellfire Pass.
And it has all the details of how you too can visit in person. James Carmody, 7 News.
A hero shopper has intervened to stop a worker being attacked inside a Melbourne bottle shop. A young thug pulled a knife on the staff member before the man in the green shirt grabbed it and ushered the would-be thief out of the store. And despite asking for his knife back, it appears he didn't get it. No one was hurt. The daughter of a killer is speaking out for the first time, leading calls for a national domestic violence register. She told Seven's Kiss and Kill investigation her father is a narcissistic monster and he should still be behind bars.
A talented trapeze artist, animal lover and mother of 4, 41-year-old Alicia Little, hit by a car driven by her partner Charles Evans.
Minutes after calling 000, Alicia was hit, crushed and left to die by a vehicle driven by her partner.
They'd been together 4 years, but the relationship was marked by violence. Before she was killed in 2017, Alicia had told her family she was planning to leave him. Evans was initially charged with murder, but a plea deal saw him instead convicted of dangerous driving causing death. He's now a free man.
Charles Evans has been out on parole for 6 months after spending 2 years, 8 months behind bars for mowing down his fiancée, Alicia Little.
Mental illness called her death, not me.
Evan's daughter from a previous relationship is now speaking publicly for the first time as part of Seven's Kiss and Kill investigation.
We were constantly walking on eggshells. Mum was told what she could wear, what she could do, who she could be friends with.
You described him in your victim impact statement as a narcissist. What made you use that term?
Because that's what he is. There's no sugarcoating and denying it.
Kamika calls Evans a monster and says one attack stands out.
He choked Mum in the front of us 3 kids. My brother and I were on his back trying to pull him off.
Evans is now back on the dating apps,
looking for love, happiness, friendship and chemistry.
Kamika has joined Alicia Little's family, calling for a national domestic violence register.
We definitely need to do more. If you know about it or hear about it, you've got to do something with that information.
To listen, visit 7news.com.au/kiss and kill, download on the Listener app or wherever you get your podcasts. Katrina Blowers, 7 News.
The King's Baton Relay has reached far north Queensland as our young athletes help spread the word about the Glasgow Commonwealth Games. 2 of our brightest hopes have taken the baton underwater on the Great Barrier Reef.
Tropical and bathed in sunshine, this is about as far as you can get from Glasgow in both distance and weather. The latest leg of the King's Baton Relay is cruising east from Cairns onto the Great Barrier Reef. The custodians, champion Aussie backstroker Isaac Cooper and middle distance runner Abby Caldwell, setting out to immerse the baton in the world's single biggest living structure, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world.
To dive out here into one of the greatest parts of Australian culture is really sick.
I've never thought that I'd be able to hold the Commonwealth baton and to be here at the Great Barrier Reef, which I think is one of the greatest spectacles that Australia has to put on.
King Charles launched the baton relay last year and it's been to Africa, Asia and the Caribbean. 74 separate batons crafted from Scottish ash, individually decorated and in this case sealed watertight. At Blassoff Reef, a little piece of Scotland takes the plunge. 47 centimetres long and weighing 800 grams, the baton represents an extension of the King's lifelong drive for sustainability, nowhere more important than in the pristine waters of the reef.
You don't understand it until you get under the water and you just see it, and it's a whole new environment. It's just an amazing experience.
In 123 days' time, the Australian baton will join 73 others at the Glasgow opening ceremony. Isaac and Abby will be there too, going for gold.
My heart's beating out of my chest every time I wake up. I'm looking forward to trials. I think it's 5 more weeks until we get to race, and I can't wait.
Accepting the baton for a new generation. Max Futcher, 7 News.
You're watching 7 News live from Perth. Next, expert advice on how to keep nasty microplastics out of our homes. A meteor makes its mark where this space rock smashed through a home. Plus, Saturday Night Live from London. The cult American show debuts in the UK.
And coming up in sport, live from Optus Stadium, more from the Eagles' big win over North Melbourne, their first for 2026. We'll hear from Harley Reid, we'll hear from Willem Dersma and the coach Andrew McQualter, plus all the highlights. The Dockers got their first win too, massive over the Demons here last night. All the highlights, and we'll hear from the big names from Freo also.
Now, Fuel Watch. Perth's petrol prices brought to you by Fuel Watch and 7 News.
Tiny fragments of plastic pollution are no longer just considered an environmental issue. They're a growing health concern. From the food we eat to the products we use, exposure is widespread, but scientists still don't understand their true impact.
Mother of 2, Emma Martin, is cleaning out plastic from her home one swap at a time.
I was that weird friend who had the glass water bottle instead of the plastic water bottle.
She's part of a growing movement to reduce exposure to microplastics, the tiny fragments created as plastic products break down.
We're breathing them in, we're definitely eating them, they're in our food, they're in our water.
Microplastics and the even smaller nanoplastics have infiltrated everyday life, from our clothing to cosmetics.
Sunscreens, moisturisers, shampoos, makeups.
It's the mix of different chemicals within plastic that's the big concern.
Plastic-associated chemicals leach out of these micro-nanoplastics and interfere with our hormone system.
The full impact on our health is still unknown. Inside the world's first plastic-free lab in Brisbane, scientists are trying to find out.
Having this lab where we can get rid of that contamination is such a major step in this field.
A major Australian study is tracking people living a low plastic lifestyle to see if reducing exposure can cut chemicals in the body and improve health.
So we're recruiting people. We're going to look at couples with fertility problems if that improves their fertility.
While the science is still catching up, experts say there's no harm in cutting back.
I've definitely swapped plastic kitchen utensils out in my house. It's an easy thing everyone can do.
Georgia Holland, 7 News.
A big boom and a huge rock has left Houston locals rattled. Hundreds of people reported seeing a possible meteor, and the claims were backed up when their space rock crashed through a nearby home. The American Meteor Society describing it as a fireball event over Texas. Iconic American sketch show Saturday Night Live has crossed the Atlantic, with a new version bringing its signature mix of comedy and political satire to the UK. The long-running series has launched the careers of some of Hollywood's biggest names.
I'm Tina Fey and I'm hosting SNL UK this week. Why? Because I thought it would get me dual citizenship.
The new London set series will air 8 episodes. To Ryan Daniels now with sport live from Optus Stadium. And Ryan, big day for the Eagles.
Sure has been, Tim. A rare win and a bright future to look forward to as well. Coming up, all the highlights, plus hear from Harley Reid and Willem Dersma. And the Dockers put on a show for the Purple Army, a perfect weekend for WA footy. The West Coast Eagles are on the board in 2026, defeating the North Melbourne Football Club by 17 points in front of more than 47,000 of their loyal fans here at Optus Stadium. Tim Kelly, Harley Reid and Elliot Yeo were excellent in the midfield, but it was the kids who impressed most. Willem Dersma, Archer Reid and Cooper Duff-Tytler stood up in the big moments, each booting 2 goals.
As the future finally arrived at West Coast, the kids standing up in a win that fans will remember for a long time. 5 players playing in front of their new home crowd for the first time. Willem Dersma making a pretty good first impression.
The number 1 draft pick finishes with class. Dersma has his first in the AFL.
The party didn't last long for the Eagles as a handful of horror turnovers contributed to 5 straight Kangaroo goals.
And O'Sullivan can measure and score the goal. The Kangaroos have 4 in a row. Shanahan's kick was poor. Jinby, big ball to be won here. And Doverston is off and running. He's got Zurha in the goal square. And it'll work out.
The slow start made much worse with grave fears for key defender Harry Edwards. On return from concussion, he was felled by what seemed to be fairly minor contact from Matt Flynn and didn't return. Some relief coming for fans and Cooper Duff-Tytler one-upping his fellow draftee.
Dribbles it like a basketballer. He did that for Australia. Sends it goalward and what a finish from the young man.
The margin back out to 5 goals early in the second. The Eagles in desperate need of a spark. The sparky Milan Murdoch provided before veteran Jamie Cripps got in on the act.
And off to Waterman, set up the last one, gives this to Cripps. Not again, surely! Jamie Cripps, back-to-back goals.
Another key defender going down, Tyler Young with a nasty ankle roll. The big man up forward with no trouble. Archer Reid getting the Eagles back within a goal. Bodies were on the line in the tight tussle. Tyler Young braving it out and returning to the field, only to watch Nick Larkey boot his 4th. The Roos taking a 7-point lead into half-time. A flying Duff-Tytler pinched one from the hands of Charlie Comben before helping pinch the lead.
All trickles inside 50. There's Duff-Tytler again. Jeez, how did he pick that up? The big man gives it off to Cripps. He'll finish. He does. And the West Coast Eagles are in front.
Playing well above his years and below his knees.
How's the follow-up from the big man? Gets the handball out to Yo. Puts it through the middle. The crowd's going to go mad.
The Roos turning to their own first-year player to hit back through Lockie Doverston. But this man was picked number 1 for a reason.
Dersma just takes 1 step and then unloads from 48 metres. This kid is going to be special.
The Eagles' 8-goal third-quarter blitz turning from bizarre to absolute Flynn sanity.
And Flynn, the sidestep, the rapid, off the outside of the boot. Optus Stadium erupts. You can't believe it. Yo. Oh no! Miracles can come true.
Tempers boiling over at Optus Stadium. The Eagles up by 5 goals going into the last. Quickly, that was back to just 2. The skipper, Nick Larkey, putting the Kangaroos on his shoulders with goals 5 and 6.
Yeah, flying at the back was Larkey. How did he hold that? The skipper. Half a dozen for Nick Larkey. This is game on.
Hearts in mouths across Perth for the full 30 minutes. The Roos constantly threatening. But if this man wasn't already a cult hero after his debut.
Fish to the clear by Comben. The snap around the body. Milan, the magnificent, in his second game. That might be it.
Win 1 of 2026, one to savour. The first win in 308 days, the 12th since 2021. Lockie Burns, 7 News.
It was the first win in blue and gold for 11 players out there tonight. Danny Shuey caught up with a few of them, plus the coach, after the game.
Oh, Minnie, you must be so proud. What a win.
Yeah, it was awesome. I think particularly after that first quarter where the game was against us, I thought the boys stayed really calm and had a great 3 quarters, and to get away with the win was terrific.
It was unreal. Obviously the fans and support that we had, support from each other as a team, I think it made it all a lot easier. it's such a special club and special moment to share it with, kicking the first goal, and hopefully many more to come.
I think the first quarter obviously didn't go to plan with our structure and system we wanted to play, but we're a little bit fumbly. But when we got our game up and rolling and we reassessed at quarter time, and the energy was there in the second quarter, and I think that's just what levelled it out for us for the rest of the game. We all like to think we have one another back, and to see that, I think it's just, I guess, super wholesome as a group. And I think we're going to take this group to the next level, and the unity piece off field has created such a big thing to help us on field. So I think it's going to be super exciting.
Boys been putting in a lot of hard work, and to get a win, we already have as much wins as we did last year. So unreal day for the club. The Waffle Eagles had a good win today in their hit out. So we'll have to move on pretty quickly to Port, but we'll enjoy this one.
And last night here at Optus Stadium, the Dockers responded to their round one loss in the best possible way, battering the Demons by 48 points. It made a perfect weekend for WA footy. Forward Paddy Voss was a ball of energy as usual, but has become the centre of a taunting crackdown from the AFL after an incident with Melbourne's Harrison Petty.
Determined to avoid a repeat of last week, the Dockers bounced back quick, leaving the D's shell-shocked with a 48-point win.
Bolton, danger again for the Demons. From outside range, crowd tells you everything you need to know. Dockers absolutely dominating the Demons.
Fremantle came out firing in a first-quarter blitz, booting 7 goals to 1. A repeat of Freo's round 1 fade-out loomed in the second term, Melbourne reducing the margin to 20, but the Dockers fought back.
I thought, we had our moments, but there's times when, especially that second quarter, we became unpredictable and kicked it to not areas you want to kick long balls to.
After just 14 disposals last week, Andrew Brayshaw matched that in the opening term, ending the day with 39 disposals.
I'm just happy to get a win. The leaders, as one of the leaders, I was really disappointed with my performance last week. So to have a really strong Monday to Friday and then come out here tonight in front of our crowd and play my brand of footy, I was really happy with it.
Shea Bolton's brilliance shone through, racking up 32 touches and 2 goals.
He stings it long. It's going to go all the way. Shea Bolton showcasing just what he's got up the sleeve.
Chris Jerrie impressed on debut.
I love the way he trusted himself to back his pace in. For the first game at AFL level to have that as a weapon and just back it in was great to see. So thought he had a super debut.
The prancing pony made sure to ruffle some feathers.
He's an extrovert, so we thrive off that energy. We understand he treads a fine line at times, and he's got to manage that. But he just brings so much energy to the group that we all buzz it out off it.
Getting in the face of Colton Tholstrup. A heated confrontation opening old wounds. Pat Voss striking a chord with D's defender Harrison Petty.
It's really stirring the pot. Going with the crying. Patrick Voss doesn't mind getting stuck into the opposition.
It stems back to 2022 when the D's defender was sledged by Dane Zorko. The Lions star upsetting Petty, making a comment about his mum. The exchange costing the forward a $1,500 fine.
Don't know what context it was in. Don't know the incident. We were walking down at quarter time. Like I said, he treads a fine line, but I think he gets most of it right. Follow up with him, have a chat and see what that is.
Asher Gibbon, 7 News.
Essendon are in a world of pain tonight after suffering their 15th straight loss. The Power thrashing the Dons by 63 points at Adelaide Oval. A knee injury to Mason Redman and Nate Caddy's open goal miss rubbing salt into the wound.
This day can't get any worse for Essendon at the moment. Open goal. It's his foot through it, just about. And it's a behind from point-blank range.
The Power are sweating on the health of Connor Rozee. There's fears the skipper may have suffered nerve damage after hurting his left leg during the third quarter. Matilda's coach Joe Montemuro has urged his players to use last night's Asian Cup heartbreak as fuel for next year's World Cup. The Aussies going down 1-0 to Japan in the final at Stadium Australia, with players in tears at full time. The Matildas have lost 3 Asian Cup finals to Japan with the exact same scoreline. Other than that, a great weekend for WA footy fans, Tim. Lots of smiles at work tomorrow. And speaking of big smiles, in the news tomorrow night, we'll have West Coast coach Andrew McQualter.
Thanks, Rhino. Been a while since we've had one of those weekends, that's for sure. Thank you. Jerrie Demasi has your weather next. And Jerrie, we've got some rain on the way.
Quite a bit of rain potentially. TMX tropical cyclone Narelle is up north. The impact could reach as far south as Perth. I'll tell you all about it in the 7-day forecast next. Welcome back. It's weather time and Perth is in for a change with potentially quite a bit of rain on the way, which we'll get to soon. But first, as always, we start with a look at today. 29 degrees was the maximum for Perth. Some variation across the metro with the airport clocking the highest top of 32 degrees and it's about 25.5 degrees outside right now in Perth City. Looking ahead, a ridge is most noteworthy for the southwest for the next few days. That'll keep conditions warm and stable, but it's this angry-looking activity up over the Kimberley that could stir things up. That's ex-tropical cyclone Narelle, which has just worn a path through parts of Queensland and the Northern Territory. There she is a bit closer, so it will move into WA tomorrow. As it crosses the Gulf there's a chance it could develop back into a cyclone. So an emergency warning is current for Columbaroo to the border. The system will then continue west, some modelling suggesting it could then move down the coast, potentially as far south as Perth. That could bring us quite a bit of rain later this week. Tomorrow, an advice for heavy rain, flash flooding and damaging winds is in place for east of Beagle Bay to the border. Kununurra could see up to 20 mils of rain across the day. Broome not affected just yet, but it will be heading into Tuesday, and then the rest of the coast tomorrow. Mostly sunshine. Bunbury should get down to 28 and just a bit of rain for Esperance as a trough pushes past. On the waters tomorrow off Perth, it's southeasterly winds to 20 knots, seas to 2 metres, southwesterly swell to 1 metre. Perth will get right down to 17 degrees overnight, then mostly sunny tomorrow and it's a top of 30. Clear skies on Tuesday, 31, partly cloudy Wednesday, 33, chance of a late thunderstorm on Thursday, 32 degrees, and then the rain arrives. So from Friday to Sunday, you can expect up to 20 mils each day, which is quite a bit if it happens, but that could be revised down depending on what path Narelle takes. We'll just have to wait and see. But Perth has not seen any rain since Feb 27, so fingers crossed we get some, Tim.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? Thank you very much, Jerrie. That's 7 News for this Sunday night. I'll be back with evening updates. For the latest stories, head to our website, 7news.com.au. Thanks for joining us. Australian Idol is next.